What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, I've got day one predictions for you guys for the World Finals, which is starting on Friday. They're a little bit early. I was hoping Wednesday would have been nicer, so I'm getting this video out for you guys so you can get the predictions in. Everyone's really hyped, and I don't want anyone to mess up their predictions. Some people are just going to be really impatient and just go for stupid things. So if you guys want to check it out for yourself, this website is really cool. You can take a look at what you can win potentially. So there's a lot of star drops up for offer. You've got this pin over to the left as well. And then if you scroll over to the right hand side, you've got a ranked star drop. We've got a legendary star drop. We've got 3 pins that are exclusive that you won't be able to get anywhere else other than this website. And then you've got the Hypercharge at the end. So a lot of people are going to be wanting to know who are the best teams, what predictions are going to work. And also you've got to bear in mind, not only predictions are going to be the way to get points, there's going to be questions in on the app as well, and there's going to be MVP votes and other stuff. I'll dive into that in a second, but of course you want the juicy predictions, which, you know, everyone might be busy, you might not get the chance, but at least you can predict pretty early. So if you want to take a look as well, there's been an update on this event.brawlstars event.supercell website. I'll leave a link to this in the description. You can see that there's been some nice changes, like you can see their previous achievements, you can see how old they are, trophies, etc. So if you just want to learn about the teams and the players, I would advise doing so, because it's really good to get along with this storyline. And yeah, let's just dive into it then. So what I'll quickly go over is the standings and the teams coming into the World Finals. So we had Elevate finishing top of NA, which is notoriously known as a really strong region. SDMN did get second last year, so NA is going to be a strong region again. Only Elevate, Pioneers and Luminosity made it. Tribe Gaming and SDMN falling down, so we're definitely seeing a shift in the NA region. We also have South America Space Station afoot. There, I would say the weakest region there, but definitely they bring the fire in LAN and do thrive in a LAN setting, so be aware of them. We've got Asia with Crazy Raccoon and Rival Esports. I would say that other than Crazy Raccoon, I've not really been impressed with Asia this year. You know, Navi is starting to really drop off. Rival haven't really been looking good in scrims, but we'll dive into that later on. And then with EMEA, every single team pretty much in this top 6, except for Stamina Esports, which just missed out on LCQ, did make it to the World Finals. So let's just dive into the predictions then in a second. So what I'll quickly go over is the scrims and what we're looking like. I'll refer back to this in a second. So essentially, if you guys don't know what scrims are, they're just practices between a pro team against another pro team, normally against fellow world finalists. And I won't really read too much into scrims. Sometimes it can be a good prediction. For example, if they're just getting wrecked in scrims, you know, if we're seeing like a below 40% win rate, then they're probably not up to standards. But yeah, people are just going to be practicing stuff. They could be really holding their cards close to the chest and not really going for everything. People don't even try all the time in scrims. You get what I mean? There's a lot of external factors. Anyway, you can take a look at this. So the things to really take a look at, I'll leave a link to this spreadsheet if you want to see it. I'd say the most alarming things is Humble. They're nearly at 70% win rate. They've been really grinding all year. Their scrim win rate all year has been literally the best in the world. So their preparation and drafting is exceptional. Of course, their gameplay is really good as well, but drafting is most important thing right now for sure. SK got a good win rate. Most of it is pretty standard, around 50%. You know, Totem and Rivals, I heard, has some Wi-Fi connections and elsewhere. That's why I was hoping I could do this prediction video in a few days time, because it would have been a bit better. And then you've got Zeta, a little bit alarming, LG a little bit alarming, but the rest I would say are just what you expected. So let's just dive into the predictions then and just waffle our way through it. So prediction number 1, let's go over here. So the good thing as well about this event.brawlstars website is that they've added a few stats here just to help you guys out. So we've got Elevate versus SK Gaming. So we've got number 1 in NA, I believe, and then we have number 3 in EU. So SK, they started the year really hot, and everyone was saying this is going to be some god team. They're just going to destroy EMEA, and they did drop down a little bit, but I think they're a really good LAN team. We've got, of course, Joker. He's absolutely insane and really good at drafting. Lenane is Lenane. I always say he's one of the best players in the world, and he always will be. So if they've got Lenane, and maybe he can get his flowers here, and then Yoshi is just a grinder. We've got Elevate as well. They've been playing the most scrims out of every single team right now, and that will definitely pay dividends, because draft is very important. The more scrims you do, the more draft knowledge you've got. So this is going to be really tough. I will say that an upset definitely definitely could happen because it is best of 3. You got to remember during all of this. But I'm going to go with my heart, EMEA, SK Gaming. I think they've just got more LAN experience as well. On the side of Elevate, they're good players, but again, EU is a really strong region. I might be biased, but my bias definitely did come to fruition because Zeta won last World, so EMEA have got to be a really tough region. So now we've got Group B, Pioneers versus Space Station Gaming. So let's take a quick look at the data. So Pioneers came second in North America, and then SSG came number 1 in South America. But from what I was looking at, I think Foot Esports have been looking the better of the two, especially recently on LAN as well. I believe Foot Esports won their LAN against SSG, if I can remember correctly, and they've just been looking better in scrims and everything else. This is going to be a really tough game to predict because you've got Juan Carlos then second best and Payne on the left, who are really good from a stacked region in NA, but they don't really have the LAN experience. So I'm actually gonna go against my gut instinct. I'm gonna go Space Station, mainly because they might have just too much passion and fire for a LAN, whilst I don't know how the other team are going to face off on LAN. Again, I love the people on Pioneers. If I was to be biased, I would go with that. It's just so hard. It's a best of 3. Anything can happen, but I've got to go with a few spicy opinions in this. So we have Crazy Raccoon versus Zeta. Boy, is this one a hard one to predict. Really, it could go either way. So we've got Crazy Raccoon versus Zeta. Both of them have world champions on their team. Zeta, the last year's world final winners. Crazy Raccoon the year before that. We've got Tensai, who's a double world champion. I don't even need to explain their team. Saitampo, Moya, they're just absolutely cracked, mechanically the best players in the world. But will their draft let them down? I don't really think so right now because Zeta aren't looking too hot. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just... is there something about when you become world champion, you might put your foot off the gas? That's what a lot of people tend to do. Crazy Raccoon haven't, but the other former world champions, myself, it can kind of get to you a little bit. So I just think Crazy Raccoon have the aura. They're just going to be good. Day 1 as well, Zeta did lose last year as well, so bear that in mind. And best of 3, anything can happen. Rival Esports versus Humble. I think this is going to be plain sailing. I'm not going to waffle too much. I did think Rival Esports looked good online, but in scrims they've just not been looking too hot. Humble preparation has been amazing, although they might not have the most LAN experience. I think Humble look the best prepared, and I think that'll be enough. Even if nerves are going to get to them, I think that'll be enough. Also, fun fact, I love Semantic, but he's only won 1 game. Even though he's played in 4 world finals, he's only won 1 round in world finals, so bear that in mind. Maybe he's got some secret curse. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So now we have Reply Totem versus Space Station Gaming. Again, I think this one should be pretty one-sided. Best of 3, anything can happen, as I always say. But in a better region where Space Station started to look a little bit weaker, Totem, I've been watching their scrims. They've been looking really, really good. And, you know, Chaos is the only player to actually reach every single world final. Maru and Mari, they're just so composed on stage. They've won multiple LANs last year together with Joker, though. They've not looked as good as previous years, but I think they'll be able to figure things out, and I think Totem should be able to win this one. So again, this is going to be another really tough game to predict. We've got SK Gaming versus Foot. So the reason why this is tough is because Foot on LAN are just so good. The Brazilians are just so loud on LAN. If you was in the arena literally years and years, since what, 3, 4, 5 years, every time a Brazilian team steps on stage, they've just got this fire, this energy. Sometimes it can work against them, but sometimes it can be really, really effective. And especially because it's a best of 3, I think you really need that momentum. So again, it is tough. Foot have been looking really, really good and super underrated. But I think SK Gaming, again, I've got to go with my EU gut, and I think they'll be able to clutch it up. So next, we've got Humble versus Eternal Fire. So again, Eternal Fire were ECP, and if you guys didn't know, ECP beat Stamina to make it to the world finals, which had Bobby, Angel Boy, and Drage. So just off that feat, they can beat a massive roster like that, right? You got Bobby, Angel Boy, and Drage. They, like, on paper, they should definitely have beaten Eternal Fire. So in terms of LAN setting, I think they've got some fire that people might not recognize. But Humble, I think, again, are just been more consistent throughout the year. They've just left behind other teams in EMEA. They've looked so comfortable. I think they should be able to beat off EU, and yeah, that should be pretty plain sailing. Next up, we've got Zeta versus Luminosity. So I've seen a few people go with a wild prediction Luminosity, mainly because Zeta haven't been looking the hottest in scrims, but I still think it's Zeta at the end of the day. They're the world champs. Although they might not look final form in the first day, I think they'll start to build it into the competition again like last year. So again, I love the people in Luminosity though. I'll definitely be supporting Luminosity at the event, but I just think I just can't doubt world champions. I just can't. They literally won worlds last year, and I think once they figure out draft, they should just be a bit too good. Again, this is going to be an exciting game though. Best of 3. Luminosity nearly beat them last year. They could be out for revenge. Something in me wants to put Luminosity, but because I'm going to do this on paper, I think you guys have to vote for Zeta. So next up, we've got Elevate versus Foot. So this one, again, will be super close. So some people actually, in terms of voting, they don't vote right now. They wait till live to see how it develops, how teams are looking. I think that's a really clever thing to do, but again, if you're impatient or just got stuff to do and you can't watch live, you just have to do it this way. So again, I just want to see how Elevate face off in the first round. I think who was it against again? Elevate versus SK Gaming. So it depends how they look against SK Gaming, because if they look like they haven't got the LAN experience and the nerves getting a better hand of them, I think Foot could definitely beat them. But because of the preparation and #1 in NA, I have to side with Elevate. It's going to be unfortunate, but I'm gonna have to do it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, Pioneers versus Reply Totem. Again, I think my EU bias might come into play a little bit here, but it is Reply Totem. They've got the LAN experience again. Chaos has been to 5 world finals. Maru, they've won multiple ESL events last year. They won ESL Masters, so basically it was basically Worlds last year. They won that in Japan, so I think they have the experience. I just don't know about Pioneers. A little bit iffy, so I'm going to go Reply Totem. And then Crazy Raccoon versus Luminosity. Again, no disrespect to Luminosity, they got put in the group of death when you realize things, right? You've got Crazy Raccoon, who always on paper will be the favorites, and then Zeta, last year's world champions. Poor Luminosity, right? They're definitely in the hardest group you could possibly get. I've got to go with Crazy Raccoon on this one. Again, I never doubt Crazy Raccoon. I don't think I'd ever vote against them. It'd be very hard for me to do so. So, yeah, I've got to go with that. And then last, for the final prediction of the day, Rival Esports versus Eternal Fire. So, again, this one can be a little bit choppy. I think this is going to be a really exciting game to watch, because Eternal Fire are going to be pretty underrated. Rival Esports, they've got Milcreo on their team, who I faced off against in the World Finals back in 2019. So he's been playing for years. He's the only player, I believe, to be playing in this one from 2019. I can't really recall anyone else that's still playing right now. So yeah, fun fact. And then yeah, Eternal Fire, we've got Ope, Gugu, Mebius, really aggressive players. It's going to be a tough one, but I've got to side with my EMEA boys. I think to beat Drage, Angel Boy, and Bobby in a LAN setting, I think is a bigger achievement than people realize. Also, I've got to give them the credit. They definitely did ice up on LAN. They've got some nerve, and that's definitely going to help them, especially because I don't think I've really seen Rival Esports play too much in a LAN setting. So those will be my predictions. I'm going to scroll through them quickly. We've got SK to beat Elevate, which again would be, I don't know, maybe like a 55% chance for SK Gaming. We've got Space Station versus Pioneers. I honestly think this is, I think maybe like 55% Pioneers, honestly, but I'm just going to go with an underdog, because upsets will happen 100%. I won't get 100% of these right. Crazy Raccoon versus Zeta. I think this is like 55% Crazy Raccoon. Humble versus Rival. I think this is like 70% Humble, 30% Rival. Space Station versus Reply Totem. I think it's about 60% Reply Totem, 40% Space Station. SK versus Foot. I think this is, again, probably like 60% SK, 55%, I would say, because Foot are really good in LAN setting. We have Humble versus Eternal Fire. I would say this is like 55% Humble, maybe towards the 60, just because it's both EU, both in the LAN setting. We've seen just how good Eternal Fire can be. Definitely could do an upset. Zeta versus Luminosity. On paper, it probably is about a 60-40 in Zeta's favor, but I got a sneaky feeling Luminosity could actually pull off an upset here. We've got Elevate versus Foot. Again, about 55% Elevate. These games are just so close. The level is insane. Again, there's no game I can pinpoint that would definitely win, to be honest. And then we have Pioneers versus Reply Totem. Reply Totem, I'd say about 60-40. Crazy Raccoon versus Luminosity. I'm going to go with, again, about 60-40. Poor Luminosity. I feel so bad for him. And then Group D, we've got Eternal Fire versus Rival Esports, which I think should be about 55% Eternal Fire. So that's going to be it for today's video. Predictions are locked in. At the World Finals, I'm going to be doing my predictions on November 2nd to help you guys do day 2, day 3. Also, in terms of tips as well, if you want to know more about it. So as I said, if you're watching it live, there's going to be MVP votes at the end of every single game. There's also going to be Stream A and Stream B. So there's going to be like MVP votes just flopping out randomly, which are going to give you like, I think it's 75 points or 100 points. So that is substantial. So watching it live, it's going to be very beneficial. You'll see the time zones. So you go onto here, it will tell you when it's going to be live and whatever else. So get prepared. It's going to be a long one. There's going to be also random questions as well, testing your Brawl Stars knowledge and your Brawl Esports knowledge. They can get points along the way. And even if you get some stuff wrong on day 2 and day 3, you'll be able to revote and everything like that. So super long video. Appreciate you guys watching me waffle. So that's going to be my predictions. I'm hoping to at least get 8 of them right. I think I will. I think there's pretty much no chance of me getting every single one right because it's a best of 3. If it was a best of 5, I really think I could get every single one right, but best of 3, it is going to be so difficult. Yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.